everybody. I think we are live. How is everybody? Hope everybody's fine, doing well. We are going to look at one of Sophie's favorite players today.
Yeah. I think one of many people's favorite players.
I think so. But I know that from the very first moment that I told Sophie that we are going to do this, she was, please, Tal, can we start with Tal? So I was finally there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
good that we have worked our way up to him now. And yes. I can see people on YouTube. We are live on YouTube now as well.
Yes. Well, we started on time, so please.
1 minute passed.
We had no problems today, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the usual problem with Twitch, so for everybody watching us there, the title is not right again, so we are just waiting for someone to change it for us, if that's possible. We are going to look at attacking games today. The Eagle's Gambit is over, and what we are going to see is some games of Mikhail Tal today.
Yes.
Mikhail Tal, the legend, yeah, that's right. The great attacking player.
Yeah.
He's got some great games, and I think he's most famous for his intuitive sacrifices that were not always correct, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But he was also a very imaginative player, so he found many interesting ideas. His games are a source of inspiration for everybody. I think he's definitely worth studying.
Yeah. And he was the world champion for 1 year, right?
He was a world champion, yes. And he stopped the reign of Botvinnik, one of the two players who did that.
Yeah.
So we are going to start. Well, I'm going to start with a little story, and we're going to start with a game not of Tal, but a game that's connected to Tal. So I have been reading I've started again reading a book of Mark Dvoretsky, which I have right here. It's called For Friends and Colleagues, Profession Chess Coach. It's a great book. I love it.
Beautiful book.
You have read it?
No, but it looks beautiful. It's a very pretty book.
It's a very pretty. It has a volume 2 as well. So while I was reading through it, I noticed that he has a chapter dedicated to Tal. So I started with that. It was not planned, but yesterday I've been reading about him and his relationship with Tal and his thoughts about Tal. He speaks very fondly and highly of him. And he shows some games. This is one of them. This is a game of his from a tournament that he won, a tournament that Tal played in. And he got into this position where his opponent played rook f to d8. And he says that he felt that this position should be winning. I mean, he felt that there should be something decisive right away, but he couldn't work it out. He just couldn't find anything that would finish the game right away during the game. He said that he spent about 20 minutes, and I have some lines that he mentions here, some ideas that he thought of. And in the game he played, I'm just going to briefly show you this, he played knight takes d7, and he eventually won this game, rook d7, knight e4, and he just continued the attack, right? Here he played h6, rook e3, bring the rook to the king side, rook f3, and the attack was too powerful, and he eventually won. Black also made some mistakes. It's always difficult to defend when they are attacking you. Here bishop g5 is a mistake, and queen d3, knight g5. This leads to a winning position. Queen e3 back, attacking e6 and g5, and now it's over.
Yeah.
But no, he couldn't just let it go, and he said that he went back to the hotel after the round and showed this game to Tal, and again he stopped in this position and he told him that, can you imagine this? There's nothing here. It looks like a dangerous position and I couldn't find anything. There's no combination here. And Tal suddenly, looked at him and said, no combination, no way. I'm going to quit chess if there is no tactic here. So he thought for a few seconds and he found the brilliant win in this position. I'm going to give you a few moments to think about this position, see if you can find Tal's ideas.
And I have to quit chess if I don't find.
No, you don't have to.
Okay, good.
You don't have to. Don't have to do that though.
Okay, so this is Michal Tal. So we have to be aggressive. I'm just looking at taking on f7 because it's. I mean, we have to do something about this knight, I guess. Otherwise, Black can just take it. So I really don't know, like just taking here because now we have both the f file and the d file to attack in, and then maybe doing like a rook lift. But I'm not. I really haven't calculated far in this, of course. I mean, also we could. I don't know. There's a check here.
Yes.
That's what you should look at first.
That's right, yeah.
He can't go here because then we will take on f7 and that's checkmate. So after queen g4, he can't put anything. He has to go here.
Yeah, that's right.
And then maybe we can do like if we put a rook here and just let him take this knight. And we go here. Now we're threatening checkmate, but maybe he can move his bishop.
Maybe like bishop f6, yeah?
Bishop f6, and then we can give a check, but he can go to e7. And then I think it's like running out in the sand.
Yeah.
But okay, so we give a check, he goes here. Then we take an f. I just made a wrong arrow here. Then
F7.
we take an f7 maybe. And takes, and then we put one of the rooks on this third rank.
That's these are ideas that he also thought of in the game, no? Because it looks like there are so many things. He said that he also thought about knight d5 here. I'm just allowing you to think here to see that the position is very complicated. I am reading the comments.
Oh, I'm just going to.
So I am just waiting for more ideas. It's white to play here. I would like to see a full line though. If you are going for big sacrifices. Queen g4, king f8 and rook d5. Yeah, those are ideas that he also mentions in the book. There's also knight d5 right away. Yeah, I said that. But as you can see, I think no, the position is very complicated, and in a game it's understandable that you might get lost in such complications. But the move is queen g4 check. You are right about that. The intuition works. King f8. Oh, thank you for changing our title on Twitch. Great.
Oh, that's
Thank
great.
you very much. There's no confusion now. Thanks. So now king f8. And in the game, during the game, he said that he thought about knight takes d7, about this idea, knight d7, rook d7, and here rook d5, right? Because now the pawn on e6 is pinned. But here he saw some incredible defenses for black. For example, e takes d5 here wouldn't work because queen d7 and white does get a good attack. Rook e8, he saw this, king b1. And now on d4, he has the move queen b5, and he said that he saw this and he was comfortable here. He had a good position. He was happy with this. But he wasn't happy about the move queen b6, though, in this position, which seems to be the best defense. He looked into rook e6, but here black is defending. And it's still very difficult to find the mate Here, for example, king h8, and he's running away, you know? There's nothing.
Yeah, you have to be sure before you sacrifice a rook.
Because before you sacrifice everything, yes.
Yeah.
But there is something that Tal found immediately, and that is the sacrifice with knight takes f7.
Yeah.
King takes f7, and here rook d5.
A rook d5.
Yes. And what's brilliant about this is that he only took a few seconds to think about. And Dvoretsky spent about 20 minutes during the game and some time in the analysis, and he said he couldn't find this idea. He had ideas about cutting the fifth rank, but couldn't quite make them work. So let's look at the ideas. If the queen moves, if the queen moves away, like queen a6, for example, then this is the continuation. Rook f5, he takes f5, and this is leading to mate. King f8, check. And now, boom, a second rook sacrifice. Yeah. Knight d5, king e8, and here queen e3.
Yeah.
And there we go. If king g8, we have knight f6, yeah?
Yes.
I'm going to show this, and there's a mate on h7. And if king g6, then there is knight f4. And the mate is here on f6. So what happens if they take the rook? That's the big question. Yeah, about after rook d5 here, e takes d5. Then we have a check. Another check. King e8, and now queen f6, and that is going to be mate.
Yeah. That's not possible to defend.
That's not possible to defend, no? Just a beautiful position to show the level of imagination and how good a tactician he was. No? And now let's move on to his games. We're going to start with this game against Najdorf, where it's white to play. How should white continue?
And Tal is playing white.
Tal is playing white, yes. Tal Najdorf is the game.
So he's already started the attack. I like my Tal sense says that taking on e4 should be considered very seriously, because it's like the only it's like the best defensive piece black has right now. So taking here, and then I mean, we can always threaten checkmate in one move, or maybe even, I don't know. I'm just trying to go crazy because I know that's Tal's style. But of course, he didn't just. I mean, he actually calculated everything until the end. Often.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, I know, but like his intuition was very strong. Okay, if we sack here, he must take back. Then let's say that we. There are also so many themes in this game. Okay, we could go here, trying to threaten some checkmate. Then he would have to move this pawn, and then the bishop can go to f6, and like the dark squares are pretty weak around the king. Then maybe we would have time after this to, I mean, knight h6 would be threatened right away.
Yeah, that's true. But I think he can also try f6 after queen g4.
Yeah, to defend with the queen.
Yeah.
So taking here, queen g4, and then f6.
I see everybody's agreeing on rook takes e4. I see the move in both YouTube and Twitch chats. So.
Rook takes e4, then bishop f6, Harish is suggesting, and rook takes knight h6. Knight h6, is that better?
Knight h6.
Or putting the queen here. So taking on e4, he takes back and then playing knight h6. Ah, that's maybe smart. Because if he takes, then we can give
Bishop
a check and go bishop f6. But if it doesn't take...
Yeah, that's the question if I go king h8 in that position. Bishop f6. Anyway, no, that was the suggestion of Dark Legend. But I think I can refuse your sacrifice still. Maybe try to get my pieces closer.
Okay. I was looking at another idea, but I'm not... It's just a theme about going with the knight here. Giving a check, and then I guess we have to take
Anastasia's
this knight on e4. Yeah, like something if we could somehow sack on h7 and get a rook to h3, but I think it would only work if our rook, one of the rooks, was already on the third rank, ready to go to h3.
Yeah, it looks complicated now.
Yeah.
Rook e4 and bishop f6 again is suggested. And what about knight h6 first move? Okay, that's smart.
Even taking.
That's smart because you want to trick me into taking and then take on e4. But I already know what you're going to play, so okay. I'm going to go king h8.
But what's the other suggestion? Taking on e4 first and then playing bishop f6?
Yes, that's been suggested.
Well, that's threatening on g7.
That's pretty forcing, yeah?
Yeah.
That is right. Rook e4, okay. D takes e4 and bishop f6. This was the point of eliminating the strong knight on e4. That was the piece that was defending everything, like you mentioned. Yeah. And this is a mate that you were looking at before, yeah?
Yes, exactly.
Through a different move order, but you are getting here. And in the game, he played queen b6. But now comes bishop g7, and this is over soon. He actually resigned in a few more moves. Now bishop e5, simply go back and continue with the threats. Yeah. Knight h6, f5, make the queen go away, and now queen h5 he played, threatening on f7. The point is that if he defends, well, here he, I think here black resigned, but the point is that if he goes queen d5, then bishop d6 is coming.
Ah, yeah.
And we are getting back to the previous threads now on the G file. And if, well, actually bishop d6 on any other move, no? Queen c4, bishop d6 as well. And mate should be coming very soon. Okay, this is just for warm-up. I started with a few tactics. And now let's move on to this game, which we are going to see from black's perspective.
Okay, just gonna flip the board.
Tal is black here. And well, I found this game very, very interesting because it starts from this position that has been played many times, and here white takes on b5, pawn takes b5, knight b5, and this is a theoretical draw because, well, black needs to defend the knight on c4. And he only has c6 to do so, and knight a7 is coming. And many games have finished after queen c7, knight b5 back, repetition of moves, sign the draw and go home.
And why won't white take on c8?
Why won't white take
after take on e3? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I can take on e3 in between move and then take on c. Let's show that you're right. We should see this. Knight takes c8. We can take in between on e3. And queen e3, I have bishop c5, so white cannot take that. I think here he's even losing.
Yeah.
If he does this. But on knight a7, of course, Tal wasn't in a mood to make a quick draw. Just move 15. No, what is this? We haven't even started playing, and you want a draw. That's not going to happen. So here he plays knight e3. We were discussing queen sacrifices in Nejmetinov game.
Yes.
And here we have Tal. It's not the only queen sacrifice that's more or less intuitive because this is supposed to be losing for black, but he got on top of it, of course. Knight takes c6, and here he plays bishop c5, trying to create some threats with the bishops. Knight that takes f1 is the threat, so he wants to take this rook and then take the knight on c6. White can defend, so this is, I'm not advising you to play this, but I'm just trying to show you his ideas, because here, for example, knight a5, white is doing fine, but I think it's not the same when Tal actually plays this against you in a game. So he's leaving the queen there and bringing all his pieces into the attack. Now, black can take on e4. He has time to do so because there will be, he's got still time to take the rook. The rook on f1 is hanging, but knight takes c2 and knight a1 is a threat as well. Oh, that's a discovered check. So we have time to take this pawn, but here rook f3, and after knight c2 it feels like black's attack is over.
Yeah, and what do we have?
We have
a piece and a rook. It's not quite enough.
Not quite enough, and the knight on a1 is kind of trapped, kind of stuck there. I think we might get that as well. So this is very good for white, but in the game he played king h2, and king h2 is a bad move because it allows knight f1. This comes with check, and here bishop takes c6, and now we have two pieces and the rook for the queen, which is not that bad. Yeah.
No.
White goes c4, d6, getting the pieces out, and queen c2. No, the idea is that black is not allowed to castle after queen c2. If we castle, I think white wants to play e5 and get the pawn on h7. But Tal goes bishop d4. He stops the threat and prepares e5 himself. He really wants to open the center and start attacking this king on h2. White went b4 and e5. And according to the computer here, the best move is pawn takes e5, but that does look very difficult to play, I think, over the board, because you kind of leave your king open. It makes more sense to want to keep the position closed and play f5. But f5 allows black to get a big attack. And from now on, black is much, much better. So I'm going to invite you to try and find a plan for black. How are we going to play from now on?
Okay. So now we have the advantage.
Now we have the advantage, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the next step must be to somehow activate the rooks. And it should be about this king. Also because if we, like, these pawns could be, the A pawn and the B pawn could become very dangerous. So I think it should happen pretty fast. Maybe we can go... I'm not a huge fan of castling because then I feel like the rook should stay here on the king side. Mm-hmm. So either going for h5 or maybe even just playing g5 with the... Oh, I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to playing g5 with the idea of going g4 and maybe h5. And I don't know about the king. He should maybe go to e7 or d7 so the other rook can join here as well. Unless we want to just throwing in ideas. I'm not sure if this pawn push is possible because this bishop is not so happy right now.
Yeah, that's been suggested in both chats, but
okay.
Shivers is right because white can just take, pawn takes d5,
so.
and
then we have to play the bishop.
Yeah, the rook is hanging
back,
on c8.
and it's maybe one. I think I would prefer starting with just looking g4. If he takes, oh no, then he can take en passant and my knight is hanging.
Yeah.
Okay. So then
You're
maybe
not really ready for that. Yes, your pieces
no,
are
not
not
quite
yet.
ready. Okay, then maybe just going with I just feel like it's so slow to. I mean, if I go King E7 in
Yeah.
order to bring my rook here and start running with these pawns, but I'm just afraid that as soon as I play rook here, that these pawns are just gonna come running down.
Yeah, but the bishops can stop them. Yes, the pawns are not
Yeah.
advancing that far. It's true that
No,
is why
maybe
it's
just the
counterplay.
first one. Yeah.
B5, and you just stay around there. Bishop B7 or bishop A8, just to make sure that the A pawn is not coming with tempo.
Yeah, maybe going all the way here.
But yeah, you are right. King E7 and playing for H5, G5, opening the king. The king
Yeah.
side is what Tal did here. I think someone's told you before that you should create yourself a username with Tal Sophia.
Did somebody
Remember
say
that?
now?
No,
Yeah,
I
I
remember
think there
someone
was
told you
something.
a while ago.
Something. Yeah.
And it's funny because I see you're finding many of his ideas. Knight takes f7, you immediately spotted that, and now king e7, it was one of your first ideas. And it makes a lot of sense. This is a good way to start your attack. You cannot just go g5 right away or open the position right away because your pieces are not ready. The king is still on e8, and you need to have your rooks ready to join. So first king e7, besides your knight on f6 was hanging. That was a big issue. So now white goes a4. What else can he do? And now g6. He plays this right away because now the rook can come to the g file, but he could start with rook g8. I think this was also fine. What's the difference between king e7 and king d7? Well, I think the main difference is that the knight on f6 is going to be defended when we play g6.
Yeah.
That is one of them. I don't know if there's any other difference. It does look, I mean, optically it looks like the king on e7 is safer. I don't know if it's...
Yeah, and maybe the bishop can go to d7 if in some lines.
In some lines, if I need it, maybe, no? Maybe I need it on the king side. So he goes g6, b5, and I just mentioned bishop a8 because I know Tal went all the way to a8 in the game. When you are talking about the pawns advancing. He just doesn't want a6 to come with tempo. Why not g5? Because I think he just wants to have the option of opening the g file.
Yeah.
And that's why he wants...
g5 as well, but I can see that g6 is...
I think they both make sense here, g6 and g5. But... no, if you want the g file to open, it feels that g6 is going to do it. I know, Harish, I see that you've been suggesting all of computer's first moves, so I just hope you're not trying to solve this with a computer. We are trying to learn some ideas here. I know the computer suggests g5, but it feels like if I'm going to open the king side, I'm going to do it with g6 because when I play g4, maybe h4 is going to happen. So I don't know in a game if you are going to play g5 if you want to open the king. g6 makes a lot more sense from a human point of view, at least. Maybe the machine sees it until the end, but we don't work like that, no? So now b5, bishop a8, and now he goes queen e2. And rook g8. He's not in a hurry to open the file, so he takes some time to prepare it first. Rook to g8, bring all your pieces into the attack. Big, important principle that we keep seeing in these games of all attackers.
Can I ask something?
Sure.
I know that we should trust the computer, but we shouldn't analyze too much with the computers because it's important that we understand what's going on. But I'm just curious if this is from the computer's point of view, if this is this winning for black now, or is it just better?
Right now, the computer thinks it's equal.
Okay. Okay. So the computer sees some crazy draw in this position.
Probably, yes.
I would think that this was either winning for one side or the other.
The computer evaluation changes from one move to the other.
Yeah,
For
okay.
example, before you played king e7, it was -2.
Yeah.
And then it goes to 0.00 in this position.
Yeah. That's important too, that sometimes the computers don't even understand this fully.
Yes, and there are many tactics where computers don't see the move until you show it to them. And in tiles games, that happens a lot.
Okay.
So here, g6. Actually, I was thinking about a question. Someone was asking if white can escape with the king. I think white doesn't have time for that because g takes f5. We'll open the g file and there are problems on g2.
Can you just repeat that?
Someone was asking if the king can run away, for example, king g3. Okay, here king g3, g takes f5 is winning, but maybe king g1. Sorry, king g1 is not a legal move. I'm sorry about that. So no, king g1 is not happening. King g3 and king f3, even if it was possible, where is the king going? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's
white pieces and the white squares and the dark square bishop on d4 is very
strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was an idea suggested on the Twitch chat that I loved. What about h5 and then knight g4? Yeah, that's a great idea. That's what Tal.
Yeah, I also like how he's thinking, Brodinsky. I think in that way as well. Like, what about h5? Some move. I often like just think about my own moves.
Yeah, but I think here thinking about that you want to play knight g4 is very natural.
Yeah.
And it might be the threat right away, yes, because the king is cannot really hide, perhaps. I'm wondering if I can play knight g4 right away. Maybe I'm not yet ready because now king g3 might be the move that saves the day.
After putting the knight on g4?
Yeah, like pawn takes g4, pawn takes king g3.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe I take on f5. It looks very messy as well. The king's not running away, but I cannot use the h3 square for now. But you know, knight g4 is there. Let white worry about that. That often works. No, but there is a big threat here that I might want to take on f5 first and then play knight g4 to have the g file open.
Yeah.
That might work. So here he plays g3 and he goes rook h7. He's very clever, no? Because knight h4 is still there. But with g3, white wants to escape via g2. So he's thinking, okay, I'm going to play rook h7. I might want to go rook h8, or I might want to double on the g file. Either one might be an idea. And I am threatening to go knight g4 now. If pawn takes, king g2, and rook h8, rook h2 is coming. That's going to be over.
Yeah.
Let's say, just to show the line, let's say white plays a move that doesn't change much the position. Let's say I take first and knight g4. And if king h1, he wants to play h4, I suppose. And open everything, yeah? Pawn takes g4, pawn takes g3.
Yeah.
And rook h2. And if
I'm
pawn
getting
takes,
the queen back.
I'm getting the queen back with a huge advantage. Rook h8. And again, you're getting the queen back. Either that or it's mate.
Yeah.
You either get the queen back or he's going to get mated. So he plays king g2. Makes sense to get out of the h file. It's not the best move, but really I think here the defense for white is very difficult to find. You don't really want to take on g6, which is the suggested defense from the computer side. But why would I want to take on g6? Yes, open the rook. That doesn't feel right. I mean, it looks like it's something that I don't want to play. But there's probably something direct, like maybe the pawns can advance if the rook is not on g8. But I would say that this is already very difficult. And now he goes rook g7. Yeah, we change plans now. I want to take on f5. Follow the king, yeah, exactly. And now white does have to take, because otherwise I will take on f5. And that's over. Rook g6 and rook f3. The only way to defend the pawn on g3. How would you play here with black?
I could push this pawn on to h4. Then he would probably have to play g4. And then maybe I can take. I'm just gonna, but because gonna look at it. Take. He can't go to f1 because then rook g1 would be checkmate because of this very nice bishop. And if he goes anywhere else, I could I could win the queen back, but I'm not sure if that's sacrificing too much of the. I never know these, when I make these arrows, they help me, but they also make it look very messy. Okay. H4. No, yeah, H4, G4. Knight takes G4, H takes G4, Rook takes G4. Then let's say King H2. If I play Rook G2, he takes with the Queen, he takes both of my rooks, and then he's up. Then he's up in exchange and he has these pawns, so that's not good.
Yeah.
But maybe when he goes to G2, I can play Bishop G1.
There are so many ideas. Yeah?
He can go to H1 and yeah, lots of ideas. I could also play H4, G4, Knight H5. Then he can't take that, and I'm threatening to go to F4, winning some material.
And what if I just get out of the threat?
So you say that if I play H4 and you play G4 and I play Knight H5, then you would just move the, like...
Yeah, I have to decide what I want to move. If I want to play King H2, that's one idea. I'm wondering if you have any more sacrifices, like Knight H3 afterwards, since that's... Yeah. Knight F4 and Queen F1.
What if we take...
Take what? Take what?
I'm just gonna see looking at G3, but it's take here. No, I can't make it work.
No, I think that's too much, yeah?
Yeah, I think that's too much as well.
No, but I agree the idea.
We play here,
H4
and
we
then we take with the rook instead. Because we don't need two rooks, we just need one rook.
Sophie, I think...
It's too much. I'm gonna look in the chat.
No, but Knight takes G4 looks like a very interesting idea, I think. H4 and Knight G4. You guys are finding very interesting ideas. That's why I like to ask you what you would play here. Because since I've already seen the game, I know what he wants to do, and there are always many things to discover still in these positions.
Yes.
And H4 is one of them. Let's see. Let's take a look at that. Because why not? No, G4 and Knight takes G4. This does look very...
have you put it on the board yet?
Yeah, sorry. I have to refresh that. Yeah. Pawn takes, Rook takes G4, and let's say I go King H2, yeah?
Yeah.
Now you are looking at Rook G2, and I think that shouldn't work, yes?
No. But maybe Bishop G1, but then he just goes in the corner and...
On King H1.
Yeah.
Oh, there is a beautiful idea here. There is a very beautiful idea, though, well, not easy at all. Yeah, rook g2 does not work. Let's see. What else? No, this is not a mate puzzle, Shasham. We are looking at Tal's games and we are trying to figure out his attacks. And here h4 was a move suggested by Sophie, and knight takes g4. And we were trying to see if it does work. She looked at rook g2 and that doesn't work. But here, yeah, bishop g1, king h1. How do we play after that? That is the question.
I also want to get my, it might not be possible, but I would love to get my bishop on a8 in the game as well. But I mean, it's not doing very much right now. So if it makes sense, we could even, what about f5? f5 and he just takes with the rook.
Yeah.
We could play, then we could play rook g3, but what is that threatening?
Okay, Shiver's got a very interesting idea, which is h3 here.
h3.
Yeah, but what if rook h3? King h3, I think rook g1 wins, yeah? Because we want mate on the h file next.
So frustrating.
So lucky that those aren't my pieces, but Tal's pieces. Yeah, we agree on that. We can just sacrifice them. h3, yeah, it's also suggested on YouTube. And the point is that, well, very subtle move, h3. The point is that if rook h3, we've opened the h file, and now we have this idea with rook f4.
Ah, yeah.
That's beautiful, yeah? We want rook f2.
And if he goes back,
rook f3?
Yeah, rook f3.
I was thinking we have bishop g1 and rook h4. Yeah, we have bishop g1 and rook h4, right? No, bishop g1, he goes king h3. So I have to start with rook h4 here.
And then he puts his
and
rook
then
in
bishop
between,
g1.
And then bishop g1. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Checkmate.
That's checkmate. So rook f2 is not easy to stop in that case.
No.
Maybe still not easy to win because, no, what if a move like queen d1? What if he plays this way?
Is it on the board?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Because white has ideas of sacrificing the queen for some pieces, and the pawns on the queen side can be very dangerous. So I think this is still complicated, but we should be having something. Tal would surely win this with black. But I think we've gone too far already. So let me show you what he played here in this position. Well, h4 and knight h5 was another suggestion. So let's just take a brief look at that. This also looks interesting to put my knight on f4. So I just have to move one of the pieces, maybe king h2 and knight f4, yeah?
Can you refresh?
Yes.
Great.
Okay, can you see it?
Yeah.
Knight f4, and maybe now play queen f1. This is what I thought, to kind of have this knight pinned. I was trying to, you know, get away from ideas with knight h3.
Yeah, it's kind of hard where we should, unless we can play f5.
Unless we can play f5. And after pawn takes rook g1.
Yes, or rook g2 first, and then rook
g1.
g1. Yeah.
So on f5, what do I have to do? Maybe I have to take with the e-pawn because I am also attacking your rook.
Yeah, that's true.
But then my rook on f3 is...
Or you could play rook g5 then. So f5, e takes f5, and then rook g5.
And I have no squares for my rook.
Yeah. Maybe it's not so... Looks good.
At least my king is not getting mated. Let's see
Yeah,
this
that's
f5. Let's see f5. Let's see pawn takes f5 and rook g5. Yes?
Yeah.
So you want to take on f3. I might have to allow you that. What if I just go for b5, b6 instead? Sorry. Rook f4 was another idea, but I realized that I cannot take back on f4. So I don't know how that...
Yeah, maybe it's getting too close on the king side now.
b6 is something that I would think of here.
Yeah.
Because if you want to take my rook, then these pawns might be more difficult to stop. And maybe I can advance them. And if you take on f3, my queen is getting finally in the game.
Yeah.
Queen b7 is also an idea at some point. Maybe this is not so great. Looks like the king is safe now on h2. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think white is winning here, yeah? But here he played... Well, you had ideas with f5. Those ideas are great. And you can play for this. And he plays knight h7 in the game. His idea is to go knight g5. Knight g5. And in the end, the rook will have to leave the third rank and there will be problems on g3. But other knight move, like knight d7 with the idea of f5 is also very strong. Or knight d7 and knight c5 maybe. And f5. That can also be very uncomfortable because the rook cannot take on f5. We take on g3. No. But I like the way he played. Yes, all the pieces joined the attack. You are also looking for ways to bring the knight. So here it is. Rook f1. And what do we do now? Against whom is this game? This is Christensen John versus Stahl.
So if you go f5 now, he can't take with the pawn, so he has to take with the rook. And then now we might be ready to do something with this knight. This is maybe too much, but I'm just going to look at it anyway. Taking here, taking here.
Mm-hmm. With or without f5?
Oh, with f5. I want to...
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, I want to play f5, I think.
I don't know if it changes the position match. That's why I'm asking. If I'm going to take with the rook?
Yeah, that's true, of course. Let's see. Okay,
I like the spirit. Harish says, let's sacrifice some pieces. Yes, let's sacrifice some pieces.
Let's sacrifice some pieces. If I take here on e4, he, of course, has to take with the bishop. I think so.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, and then we take here on g3. And then if you take with the queen, I can take an e4 with check. And that looks very good.
Yeah.
So taking an e4 with the knight is taking here, here.
I'm just going to play this. Yeah,
good. I think
because it looks really good. Rook g3. And this is a nice idea that you just pointed out here, that if queen g3, you want to take on e4 with check in between move. And I think we are winning everything.
Yeah.
So here he played king h2 and now rook g2.
Yes.
if bishop takes g2, this is winning as well, because we have...
can just go anywhere on the second rank,
anywhere,
right?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Rook e2, so there's no queen e4, but that would be mate in 3 instead of mate in 2.
Yeah, okay.
So he played king h1 and now rook g1. And again, bishop takes
so
e4.
nice.
Very nice, yes? Game over.
Wow.
White resigned here. Very nice game. I think if we take a game of tiles, we could just spend the whole day analyzing it, because the complications are huge. What about the queenside pawns? I think
in the end, the king and just one of the bishops should be enough to stop them, right?
Yes, because I think, how are the pawns going to advance? Let's say we allow the pawn to, we allow white to make another move. If he plays b6, okay, make another move. If you play b7, I'm going to go bishop a7.
Yeah.
And if he goes a6, then I'm going to take on b6, so that doesn't work. And if he starts with a6, then I just blocked the pawns, yeah? On dark squares. So I don't think the pawns can advance. But of course we have the king. And having the king helps a lot, because we get there and just win them. And we're going to play f5. The king cannot advance. He will have to take care of the rest of the passed pawns.
Very nice game.
White was Kristinsson, John Kristinsson.
That sounds Norwegian or Swedish.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm reading the name correctly, but that is Kristinsson. I think that's more or less. Okay, let's see more. Here I think you can see the name. It's the third game that I have here. And I have so many nice games to show you, but I don't think we'll have time for everything. Let's see this game against Larsen.
Against Larsen?
Against Larsen, yes.
Yeah. He will be one of our players also, right?
I think so.
Great.
So here, Tal is white. How would you play this? I'm going to give you some time to think.
Flip the board. Okay, so what is the position right now? We haven't it's just equal material-wise. And black hasn't castled yet. That's a good thing to notice.
Okay, I'm going to answer a question. The Pedro Bono was asking, what is the recommended rating for my masterclasses on pawn structures? Well, I usually adapt them depending on the participants, so they can be watched by improving players and intermediate players as well. I usually... Well, the masterclasses are also interactive, so I'm going to ask you questions, and if there's anything that you don't understand, you can ask me. If I'm going too slow, I'm going to speed up the rhythm if you feel like there are things you already know, but yeah, that's more or less the way they go. It's very similar to what we are doing here, but with pawn structures.
I might be going too crazy right now, but
yeah, I suddenly see some arrows.
I'm just thinking about it. I know we should probably develop some pieces before, like, getting.
I understand your.
But maybe if I play d4, he can take on c3 first, because then he threatens to take my queen with a check.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if I like that very much. I also had an idea about going to e4 with this knight, seeing if, like, because there are some squares here. Oh, just a moment. So the question is, if I play this knight to e4, if he can take here.
Yeah.
because I don't really have any discoveries that he can't just capture.
Yes.
And then, of course, I'm looking at the knight, like taking the knight on d5. But I think if he takes with the e-pawn, I kind of save his bishop on c8. So I'm not so sure about that either.
Okay, how about the chats?
I'm going to see the chats right now. I'm just going to start with YouTube.
No,
Sophie,
I don't
what is
see
your country? I'm from Denmark, and I'm not seeing any
suggestions. Yes.
No. And what about Twitch?
Take on d5 is a
From
suggestion.
Iceland. That makes sense. I saw the previous game it was played in Reykjavik Open. Take on d5 first. So Bayan is suggesting. I mean, I think what I like about taking on d5 is that he doesn't take on c3 with and threaten my queen, but I'm just not sure what the follow-up is after he takes back. Maybe
we also opened the bishop, yeah?
Yeah, and that's what I didn't like about it. So I mean, I really, if knight e4 is working, that would be my favorite move because I avoid him taking on c3, and I also. Okay,
we've got some suggestions in YouTube. Charlie's got a very interesting idea. Knight b5.
Is the queen misplaced g4? I was looking at g4, but I think it's. I like g4, but I think objectively it's too soon. Knight b5. If take queen b5. Let me just see. Knight b5. That's. Yeah, okay, so if he takes and taking here, and he can't go. That's actually very nice. So then that's going to be checkmate here.
Yeah, that is going to be
okay, checkmate. But what if he doesn't? If he doesn't take, if he plays castles,
yeah.
Then is the idea going d6? I just think that my pawn will end up being weak there, so maybe that's not the point. Maybe then the point is to go to d4. That's so good. Then going to d4, he has to go somewhere with the queen. And then...
Prabono was saying that the queen is slightly misplaced, and that's right.
Yeah.
One of the points of knight b5 is to go knight d4. And then after queen g6, you can simply advance the pawn, like c4 and bishop c2.
Yeah. I see that somebody, Ludwig on Twitch, said c4 is the follow-up now or later.
Yes, yeah, I see it now. And that's what he played. I think you have many ways of playing here. Knight b5 is not the only move, definitely. I think you can also play this positionally, as Harish was suggesting, just get the pieces out. But then black will also castle, yeah? And here Tal realizes that he's got this slight development advantage. The queen is badly placed on f5. I think this is something that he immediately saw. He's got many games where he traps queens as well. So it's I imagine it's something that he immediately saw, pieces that are misplaced, and he goes knight b5. For example, if he doesn't take, then knight d4 is coming, and this is the line, yes, c4.
Yeah.
Bishop c2, okay. The queen is not entirely trapped because here f5 is still possible, but this position is horrible, I think.
Yeah.
Queen e4, the pawn on e6, queen h7. Doesn't look good.
No.
So
looks good for white.
Looks very good for white.
Yeah.
That's sure, for sure. So here he goes c takes b5, and you are right. Queen takes b5, king f8 runs into mate. This is the mate you are showing.
Yeah. Oh, so he can go to d8.
He can go to d8, yeah. And that's what he did.
And
what do we do now?
Rook d1 is the obvious c4 first, maybe. I mean, going like this and this looks very good.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it matters in what move order I play it.
Maybe it does, because if you, maybe my king can run away if you go rook d1 first. Maybe I can go king c7.
Go to b8.
Yeah, hide somewhere around there. c4 is the forcing move, yes?
Yeah.
They will have to play something. And it's not so easy to play something, because if knight b6, this is the main difference, that you can play queen a5. And c5 is coming. The main difference between playing rook d1 first and c4 directly. So here c5, and you get back the material, and this king is still very weak in the center. So in the game, Larsen went queen e5, and now c takes d5. This is great. g3, okay, he defends, queen d5. And here, of course, Tal doesn't want to trade queens.
No.
King e7 and rook d1. Queen a5 and queen g4 he plays here. There are other moves possible here, like rook d6 looks very tempting as well, but queen g4 also makes sense. Just defend a4 and attack g7. The king doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Queen f5, he's trying to trade queens again. Queen c4, and here he starts chasing the queen. But here with queen d3, Tal prepares this very smart idea. If queen d5, now he goes queen c3. And the point is that queen e5 does not work anymore, because we have bishop f4, and we win the bishop on d6.
Yeah.
So here the chase is over. He played bishop e5, and now queen e1. And queen c5. How do we continue?
Is b4 working? No, then maybe it is. Wait. So b4 is kicking the queen.
Yeah.
And she has to stay and protect this bishop. So I think this is the only move. But then, of course, the rook is hanging on you, a1. So
true.
Then I would have to spend time going up here. It's probably not bad, but there might be something better. We could... This is threatening bishop b4, and it's also, I think, threatening. I think rook c1 is also a threat.
Yeah, that's what he played.
Yeah.
Bishop d2. I like how you started developing this habit of bringing all the pieces into the game.
Thank you. I know that has been a problem for me. I tried analyzing some of my games, and I can see I have a tendency to just start attacking before bringing pieces into the game.
This is very important. We have seen it in the last lessons with all these attacking games. Bishop d2. Yes, the king would have to move. That's right. King f6, and now rook c1. You don't have to play bishop b4 anymore, but bring the rook. And here he changes. He switches to bishop e3, because again the queen has almost no squares. Queen a6.
This is maybe... What if you took on b2? I know it looks very greedy.
No, I think he can play this, but maybe f4 wins material already because of bishop d4 idea.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if you can see it. I was playing it on the board.
Oh, yeah, I can see.
That looks winning, yeah? No square for the bishop, yeah. So he stays away from that, but now Tal goes queen b4. Bring the queen. We have ideas with queen h4 maybe. Just bring the queen to the king side, but the main threat is probably bishop b5 here. trap the queen.
Yeah.
He goes b5, queen b7, bishop b8, and bishop c6. It's over. It's not mate, but he's winning a lot of material. So here, Larsen resigned.
That's understandable.
That's understandable, right?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to see some game of Bent Larsen where he gets to be the one in charge.
The one in charge. I'll make sure that I'll find some.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it for today. I had a few more games here that I had analyzed. I don't know if you can see them right now on the screen, but Tal Geller is also very good, and Tal Benko.
Oh, I can't see it actually.
I think you have to go to. I think now they've showed on the screen.
Okay, I can see it on there.
And Tal Bronstein that I had prepared. They're all very, very good games. They're not the only ones. I have a huge selection and I had to cut the big selection into smaller selections. But yes, Tal is a great player, one of the classics that we need to study, yeah?
Yeah, I agree. And I think that there's so many games by Tal. I understand that it's it's hard to choose just a few.
Yeah. So I suggest you keep investigating them and analyze them without a computer, because you'll find, in Tal's games, you'll probably find the most exercises for improving your calculation skills, because you get these positions where things are unclear and there are so many ideas. You just have to start looking at everything, and you should just try and write them down, and then maybe you can put on the computer if you're training by yourself. But try to work the complications out in front of a board. Forget the computer. I like working with the board.
Yeah, I think that's true. When you work with the computer, you just see everything. You're like, oh, I would have found this in a game, and then you wouldn't necessarily have.
Yeah, when the computer shows it to you, it's just, that's obvious.
What are you saying? That Bent Larsen was never before in charge?
Sorry?
Oh, sorry, just somebody in YouTube writing that Bent Larsen was never before in charge. He was very much in charge at some point. He was not number one, but I think he was at his top. I think he was top 3 in the world.
Yeah, he's also one of the classics.
Yeah.
That we have to study.
Yes.
Can we see positional players in the next lesson? We are looking at attacking games now, so even if they would be positional players, I am planning to include Karpov, for example. There will be attacking games, so for now we are going to keep looking at attacking players. Yes. Okay, analyzing your games, I was seeing a comment, is very important. Yep. To understand your weaknesses.
Oh, somebody's asking about coaching.
Yes, but the coaching only goes online.
Yeah.
And you can check the website. You have the direct link to my profile in the description of the video. So you can go ahead and check that. Or you can also subscribe for for the group lessons. You'll find them as masterclasses on CoChess.com. I am looking for now at positional chess. So Harish, that's one course that you could take if you are interested in positional chess. We are looking at pawn structures. Today we are seeing the doubled pawns, how to play against them, and then we are going to see how to play with them, because sometimes they are good. They are not always bad.
Just have a bad reputation.
They have a bad reputation, yes, because of the Queen's Gambit.
Maybe because of that.
Maybe because of that, yes. And well, the next course, I'll have to decide on that. For now, we're going to finish with the pawn structures, and we will see. No more questions, I see, so we're going to wrap it up for today. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you, Sophie. Welcome home. Sophie's home, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm in Denmark now. It's very nice.
Back for holidays.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Yeah. Okay, so thank you again very much, and talk to you soon. I will see the Spanish speakers tonight for the my last stream in Spanish, unfortunately. That will be over, at least for now. So, and we are going to look at Kasparov games. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds good.
Also attacking chess. Okay, so thank you guys very much. See you next week at the same time, 3 p.m. Bye.
Yes.